Alright, looks like I'm recording. Yep, certainly does look like I'm recording. So hey there everybody, and welcome to something a little different here on channel today. I'm just going to pull up the Lightroom library. So you just heard some audio. That audio was recorded out in downtown Prescott, Arizona. I was walking around Granite Street with a monopod and my Ricoh Theta Z1 because I wanted to do some additional testing with the time shift plugin for the Ricoh Theta Z1, and I think my results today came out pretty good. But let's explain that weird audio that you just heard, because you're going to be hearing more of it. In addition to doing the Theta Z1 testing today with the time shift plugin, I also was doing some additional testing, and you can see right here we have the Rode Wireless Go 2. So I've been using a Rode Wireless Go 1 for over a year now, and recently I bought the Rode Wireless Go 2 as well. So what was going on in that setup? We're going to come back to that setup in a couple minutes and you're going to listen along. So what was going on was that I had one of the transmitters with me, and I had the Rode Wireless Go 2 receiver as well. I had the transmitter set up to also record, because that is one of the new features of this new Go 2 system, is that this little transmitter on me right now is also making a recording. So I had the receiver clipped to my belt. I did not have the receiver clipped to any other camera, connected to any other camera. So no iPhone, no Canon M50, nothing. So I just wanted to see if I could record audio outside with just a transmitter and a receiver and not connect to any other device. And the answer I got is awesome. The answer is yes. So not only is the Go 2 available to connect up to any of your cameras or anything, or connect to your computer, which it's connected to my computer right now for this video. So this is connected to the computer, and the transmitter is also making a recording as well. So if something happens to my audio files, if something happens to clip out when we're doing a recording on, let's say, the M50, I've got a backup of the audio, and that backup is built into the transmitter. So this system comes with two transmitters. So I'm going off camera for a sec. So here's transmitter number 2. So I could pop this on someone else. This one is also set up to record. So now we've got their recording, we've got this recording, and we've got it, whatever device it is we're connected up to. So this is a big one for me, because it does mean that I can carry less gear. Because normally with the regular Rode wireless setup, I had to be plugged into an iPhone or a camera or the computer, whatever. In this case now, we have digital recordings on the transmitters as well. So this is huge. This is going to actually make it easier on me if I'm doing a virtual tour demo, for instance, that I don't have to carry that other camera. I can just have the transmitters and the receiver with me, and then we can cobble things together like we're going to do here. Now the audio output here, we've got audio coming in from the Rode receiver, and that is coming into OBS. So let's pull up OBS here, and you can actually, there's my levels and everything. So getting a little close to peaking. But so I'm going to have this audio file on the computer from this conversation we're having, and I'm going to have that secondary audio file from the transmitter right here. So if I wanted to replace the audio that the computer is capturing right now from the receiver, I can do that, and I can do that with this one. So in the long run, my hope is that this is going to help us get really refined audio output where everything is consistent. Because oftentimes when I'm out doing tutorials and I'm outside and I'm flying a drone or whatever it is I'm doing, that audio captured outside is a lot different than the audio captured inside, and it can play havoc with you. So with all that said, let's cut back over to, we're going to cut back over to what I recorded this morning while I was walking around. We're not going to go through the whole recording. It's 28 minutes long, but we're going to follow along with me talking about the setups for the time shift as well. So we're going to hear some of that in there as well. And we're combining all this stuff together. So I've made a little additional work for myself, but that's okay. All right, with all that said, and with the explanation of what's going on here, let's cut back over to that outdoor recording as we're walking along and setting up our shots with the time shift plugin for the Z1. So hey everyone, I'm doing a couple different bits of testing today. Right now I'm in downtown Prescott. I've got the Ricoh Theta Z1 set up on its monopod, and we're gonna retry the time shift feature on the Theta Z1 today, because I think I've got a decent idea. One of the big problems that I've run into utilizing the time shift mode is that my shadow massively shows up. Not only does my shadow massively show up, but the monopod shows up as well. So we're going to try something here. I'm going to go into my settings here for the camera, and we're going to set up our shooting settings here. So I'm just going down, and let's get over. So you're not seeing all of this stuff. All you're going to be seeing is the still finals here, which is okay. So I'm going over to my camera settings, going over to plugins, and I'm going to start the time shift shooting. And there we go, time shift shooting is now on. So while all this is going on, you might ask yourself, well, how are we recording today? We're using the Rode Wireless Go 2. And one of the features of this new Rode setup is the fact that we can record directly to our transmitter. So I don't have to be hooked up to a camera, which is awesome. All right, so I'm just moving myself back away a little bit, and we're getting the shot. So I'm doing this with HDR rendering, and I don't know how good or bad this is going to be. And now I need to change myself, because we shot on one lens, and now we're shooting on the other lens. So this should be an interesting composition here. All right, we're going to take a walk down the block. So you're just walking along with me in downtown Prescott here as we're getting ready for the next shots. All right, so here we are. We're back on screen again. I wanted to cut things where they were from Final Cut Pro just to bounce back into here. So as you saw in the last video, so I was out in downtown Prescott, and I set up and turned on the time shift shooting mode. So the deal is with time shift shooting, so here's the camera, and I've done something else on this as well as on my Theta Z1 class over on Teachable. We've got a little more about the time shift, but if you want to know more about the time shift, let me know. So here we go. We've got the Theta Z1. It has two lenses, okay? So I'm looking at the little LCD screen or LED screen, whatever it is, whichever L it is. So this is the back lens, all right? Front lens is the one that doesn't have that little menu area. So you plop the camera down on a monopod, you set up the time shift shooting, and it's going to do a 5-second countdown, and it's going to fire off of this lens. You then have a couple of seconds to run around to the other side, where it's going to fire off of this lens. Now, my biggest challenge, what I said about the shadows before, you can see where the shadows are stretching. So if you guys are the sun, the best thing to do if you want to minimize the monopod and also keep your own shadow out of shots on super bright days where there's lots of shadow, is we want the camera perpendicular to where the sun's coming from. So if you're the sun and you're coming this way, this is where I would like the camera to be. It does make some stretched out areas of the sun occasionally, but time shift shooting is much more easy to deal with on bright sunny days if you do that. So you're going to keep the side of that camera and you're going to line that right up with the sun. So that's going to give you your minimum shadow profile, as I'm calling it. I don't know if that's a thing, but so that's what we walked through in the last one. I then spend another 45 minutes in town doing all of this. The biggest part that I wanted to see and share with you, so we quickly talked about the time shift shooting, but I really wanted to talk about the Rode Wireless Go, the transmitters actually doing the recording, and the fact that I didn't have to connect my receiver up to another camera or anything. So if I'm just out in the field and I need to make an audio recording, and I've got my little wind muffler on this thing, but we're talking about two tiny devices. I'm just reaching off screen again. So there's the transmitter. I hook the transmitter to me. When it connects to the receiver, it's automatically going to start recording on the transmitter. 7 hours of uncompressed audio. That's awesome. We're not going to be out there for 7 hours doing any of our drone jobs where we'd be recording the whole thing. That would be madness. But so now the other thing I wanted to point out is the audio quality. So the audio output, as far as how loud, how soft it is, everything going into this transmitter seems to be the same. So even if I mess with things on the receiver on the other end, I've got these files with the output levels being the same. So that's nice because now I can match up the voice outside with the voice inside if I take the audio from the recorded audio on the transmitter. And so this has been something that I'm after. Now I think the input is a little low. It seems a little low to me, but so what I'm gonna do is in Final Cut, we'll bump it up a little bit. Maybe we'll push it up 4 dB and we'll see how that works out for us. But so in the end, I've gotten a little better with my time shift shooting ideas for, you know, if we're dealing with big shadows. So that makes me really happy. And for outdoor scenes, I think the time shift shooting is a great way to go. It's got your standard mode, it's got your HDR mode. You're not really going to be doing the DNGs with this one. It's a little more of an automated mode, of course. All right, so we've gotten to hear the sound quality from the outdoors and then the indoors. We've gotten to match things up. And I guess what we'll do now is we'll take us through one more little segment of another shot while we're down there, and then we're going to call this one a wrap. So we are covering 2 completely different topics, but they do go together because we're out there trying to show how to do these tours, and we're also trying to make sure that we've got great audio and content for folks coming to the channel. I think the go-to is going to be my go-to. Wow, that was a lame joke. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can leave the channel if you need to. All right, well, let's get back to the outdoor stuff, and then we'll wrap this one up. So right here, we've got fire lane, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one again. Let's see, slimmest profile for the camera once again. And we've got battery down to 89% right now, so.
I'm gonna get in your shot.
You're fine, I can wait. All right, and folks are already out in the downtown area, so it's a beautiful blue sky day, which is pretty normal for Arizona. However, we have been having a lot of strange weather. As a matter of fact, we had snow and sleet just yesterday, and today we've got that blue sky day. So now I'm moving around to the other side of the camera again to get myself out of the image. I'm still really close to the camera, which is one of the convenient things with the time shift shooting. You're not walking too far away from your equipment, so you can maintain control of your equipment. One of my big concerns is that, you know, when you're setting up 360 shots, you have to get away from the camera. You've got to be hidden out of frame, right? Well, if you're hidden out of frame, somebody else can walk up and snatch your camera and your monopod, which you spent a fair bit of money on. So we don't want to lose our camera and monopod at all. So this is a great way to do it, time shift shooting. I was very excited about the time shift shooting when I first read about the function. And then in application, I was not as excited. But I think we're back to excited today. Let's just do from inside the parking garage here, since we're here. No shadows going on in here. Well, that's awesome. Oh, that helicopter is buzzing around. So momentarily I'm going to kill this audio and that'll be that. Okay, time shift shooting 56%. Color me impressed. I think that this is a really interesting idea to experiment with. And so going forward, I think we'll do 1 or 2 blocks a week downtown just to tie in for both virtual tours for fun as well as the virtual tours that we do for our clients.